What's up guys, Noor here and welcome to Book of Showtime Chapter 59. As always, if you enjoy these videos, be sure to leave a like and share with your friends, and if you have a topic you'd like me to cover for Book of Showtime, be sure to leave it in the comment section down below or any retweet me on social media or the Book of Showtime Discord. It's been quite some time since I've done a review chapter. I don't get many opportunities to do so, and when I saw that Alone in the Dark broke Street Date a week early, I was ecstatic to know that I could produce another. This is a game I've been looking forward to for quite some time. It got delayed from October because it was a very stacked October last year, and also to help with some more technical polishing. Whereas Daymare 94, the previous title we reviewed, was a much smaller and incomplete game when I played, Alone in the Dark is a bigger budget title, and I was very confident about playing this product with no serious issues, although there were a few instances where I encountered some hiccups like audio crackling and the game did crash during a puzzle, but other than that, it was stable, smooth sailing. Could the game have used some more technical polish in a few areas? Yes, but it's nothing that detracted from the overall experience. I'm going to begin this chapter by talking about the gameplay, and I'm going to say it was honestly pretty mundane. You have access to a revolver to start before finding a shotgun and later a Thompson SMG, which, you know, was pretty cool to get. And you also have a melee weapon system, which it's kind of like Dead Rising, where you pick them up and they do break over time. You can only have one at once, and you do need melee weapons to get through some parts of the map. There are plenty of collectibles to be found, and some are exclusive to whoever's respective campaign you choose, but there wasn't anything that made Alone in the Dark feel special. Also, the game didn't have good death scenes. I know we talked about death scenes in the past, and I just really feel like survival horror games have to have good death scenes. I only died 4 times in my playthrough, and 2 of them were from these semi-scripted events, and 1 was during the final boss, which they do that thing that I hate. A lot of games do this final boss trope where they spawn in enemies alongside the final boss, and it's like, it just comes off as lazy to me. Now, what I noticed about halfway through the second chapter of Alone in the Dark, there's 5 chapters for reference, was that this game was alarmingly easy. I played on normal. I usually play all my games on normal. Sometimes I'll bump it up to hard if I know the game is going to be too easy on normal, and I wish I did in this instance, as the game never had me sweating in a fight or paranoid about not having enough resources. Now, I wonder if that's because I've played these type of games before and it's just getting easier. You know, I've been playing survival horror games since I was like 7 years old, or if this is a game that the developers expected a lot of casual gamers to try due to the casting of David Harbour and Jodie Comer, which, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you guys, I have no idea who Jodie Comer is. Not to mention the prominence of horror games in stream culture. I know many people who play horror games just to get scared just for the response. Speaking of jump scares, the game itself wasn't that scary, and this is coming from someone who scares extremely easy. There are a few bone-chilling moments, but nothing that really scared me, nothing that got my heart racing, and that's what I thought I'd get from a game called Alone in the Dark. The difficulty is important to note, as the game essentially has 2 campaigns, and if and when I do play Emily's side, I played Detective Carnaby's side for my first run, I'll probably boost the difficulty, since from what I can gather just off of lore, you know, experiencing the game and also peeking at a walkthrough, the games are very similar in terms of location and gameplay. Where the real differences lie are the cutscenes, and that's actually a huge incentive to play the game again, just to see how the characters treat Emily versus Carnaby. Funny enough, and I'm always going to look for an excuse to bring up Daymare 1998, that game also had similar difficulty issues too, where the game just felt like you were on cruise control most of the time, and it was also too inconsistent, which led to me being over-prepared down the stretch. I didn't have that issue in Alone in the Dark, but the game's melee system does make it pretty easy to conserve ammo. Regarding the enemy designs, Alone in the Dark reminds me of Resident Evil Revelations in the sense that there aren't too many enemy types, but they all fit the theme well. The game was also severely lacking in boss fights. There's only 2, and both come within the last hour of the game. As far as classic survival horror mechanics go, I think the 2 things that Alone in the Dark did well were the puzzles and opening up the map. It's always fun to explore new sections, open up shortcuts, and there are also parts of the game where you're actually blocked off from some areas and you have to find an alternate path around. I always felt that navigating the environment should be just as scary as the enemies. The puzzles, on the other hand, were pretty solid. There was only one puzzle that had me really jammed up, and I was worried I was going to be stuck there, but for the most part, they were all fair and required you to pay close attention to your notes. Finishing up with the plot and pacing of the game, Alone in the Dark is a bit of a slow burn, but the story really starts to pick up in later chapters. This wasn't a deep story, but it's very serviceable to the game and the setting. I wasn't blown away by anything, and none of the plot hooks or characters are going to stick with me long term, but they all serve their purpose. With all that said, I'm going to be giving Alone in the Dark a 6 out of 10. The The game is very solid and I did enjoy it, but I also felt that it was way too by the numbers for a survival horror game. Alone in the Dark doesn't do anything that really stands out. I don't feel moved in any way and I'm not in a rush to play Emily's campaign. Developer Pisces Interactive seems to approach this game with a conservative mindset as opposed to trying something bold and new in the genre. If you're looking forward to this game, I would say hold off for a price drop. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know down below if you plan on getting Alone in the Dark. And if you played Alone in the Dark, let me know what you think about it. Inshallah, I will see you in the next chapter.